get you, Barbara.
What's coming to get you?
I have a special one for you this week. They've just announced Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Oh,
It's the first one without
Justin Long?
No.
Justin Long was the star.
It's the director.
Okay, I can't remember
whoever
who that
the
is.
director is. It's the first one without him.
So are they doing like a Texas Chainsaw reboot, Halloween
I'm
reboot?
assuming it's a reboot. What was his gag? I mean, it was a monster. He was a guy. He was
definitely a monster, even more so than Freddy Krueger, if I remember right. I think he had a weapon like a hook. It may have been a scythe. It was a great makeup job. I liked his makeup. And I remember a lot of it taking place on a desert highway along the lines of like The Hitcher or one of those type movies.
Yeah, I've always associated Jeepers Creepers with like, I Know What You Did Last Summer and Happy Valentine's Day or Happy Valentine's to Me or, you know, that
My
whole
Bloody
era.
Valentine.
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine, Birthday Cake Killer, whatever. I mean, that whole kind of when the slashers were at their peak and there was like, you know, one every month.
Well, that was back in the 80s and it was all holiday horror.
Yeah. But anyway,
no,
I thought
it's different. It came along around the year 2000 or the late 90s. I can't remember.
So I thought I'd just throw out a little horror to you this week.
Well, thank you. I have some Stephen King news that's coming to get me, and you're not going to like it. He is yet again aligned with J.J. Abrams for a special project. This project is near and dear to me because I just finished reading it, and it is an incredible novel called Billy Summers. I'm really curious to know how they're going to adapt it because a lot of it is inside a writer's head, so I'm not really sure how they're going to get that to translate to the screen. This is J.J. Abrams' fifth project with him. He did 11/22/63, which is a marvelous miniseries on Hulu. He did Castle Rock, which is pretty good, and that's on Hulu as well.
Yep.
And he did Lisey's Story, which is on Apple TV. I haven't seen that one. And apparently there's something in limbo that's a Shining spinoff sequel called The Overlook. But this particular story is about it's like a hitman doing his last assassination before retirement, and he goes undercover as a writer in setup to this assassination in a high rise. He's got an office and he's playing this character, but he starts writing a book about his life and why he became a hitman. And it all starts overlapping and it ends up turning just like 11/22/63. It ends up turning into a great love story with an ending that just literally knocked the wind out of me. I walked away for like 2 days in a daze after I read it. It's a really good novel. Ed Zwick and Marshall Herskovitz are behind it. Ed Zwick directed Glory and The Last Samurai. They are both spearheading the writing team, and both of them are responsible for movies like Traffic, Shakespeare in Love, and a hell of a lot of television.
I liked Castle Rock. I liked The Outsider, even though that wasn't JJ. And then you say that the other one is good.
Mr. Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes.
It's very, very good. I just think that these miniseries, or well, actually, Mr. Mercedes is 3 seasons. That's just a really good format for Stephen King. It sets up enough length for the story, but it also gives you the vignettes of having 8 or 10. You know, I mean,
and you're able to see those characters that he's developed and their backstories. And instead of cramming it into this 2-hour pseudo action sort of horror piece, you can let it breathe a little bit.
We discovered it back in the 80s and 90s, actually the 90s more than any, that the miniseries format was a really good format for Stephen King. So now these series formats that are on streaming platforms are just the next evolution. That's it for this week's Coming to Get You. Thank you for joining me, David.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, Tim. And thank you guys out there for watching and listening. And let us know what's happening in your genre week. What's coming to get you?
Yeah.
Coming to get you, Barbara.
You can't start the car,